I'm Corbett Wall with USDA Market News, here with your weekly feeder and stocker cattle market summary for the week ending March the 21st. We had feeder cattle weighing under 800 pounds selling steady to $3 higher. Those heavier big feeders weighing over 800 pounds steady to $2 lower, with most of those lower markets posted in the southern plains. Now your stocker cattle and calves were not well tested everywhere. We're running short on those already. But where tested, stocker cattle and calves sold steady to $5 higher, with those 6-weight stockers, your most popular weight right there, especially near your major grazing areas, 600 to 700 pound steers selling fully $6 to $8 higher. Now in the south central region, which includes Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri, your 600 to 700 pound steers this week averaged $195.74, which was $7.17 higher than just last week and more than $50 higher than the same week a year ago. But we're right in the peak of your stocker buying season right now. Probably not going to get any better demand for those stockers we're seeing right now, but supplies are going to get even tighter, so we might see prices stay just as high. But really seeing those guys getting aggressive, trying to get those cattle bought for their turnout dates, and especially near your Flint Hills region, your Osage region, places like that, because everybody wants to get something big enough turned out to where they have a yearling feeder weighing around 8 coming off in late summer or even midsummer on those double stock places, but they wanting to sell an 800-pound steer. And so they're having to turn a pretty good sized calf out in the upper 5s anyway to get there. But we're already seeing in the early contracting of those 8 and 9 weight yearlings coming off grass in the summer and fall. They're selling at a big premium to current delivery cattle the same kind and weight. And you're starting to hear a lot of people talk about how high some of these yearlings could be coming off of grass there. But it's really getting crazy what some people are talking, how much they could bring, maybe $180 or $190 coming off grass. We haven't seen that yet, but we have seen them get up in the 70s pretty good. Cattle on feed come out this Friday. On feed numbers come out at 99.5% of a year ago, which was more than what the analysts had guessed, but still less than same time a year ago for the 19th straight report. Placements will come in a lot heavier than what they thought at 114.7%. Your average guess was just over 109. Marketings of fed cattle during the month of February were lower than what the analysts had predicted at 96.6%. So this report's pretty bearish, but it's really the first bearish anything we've seen to do with the feeder cattle market since the same report a month ago. And it only took a day or two to forget the bearishness of that report. This one could last a little bit longer. We know that this feeder market is really top heavy. It's really up there. It could go down $20 or $30 a hundred and still be historically high. But everybody's looking out now what's going to do it. We don't really perceive anything outside of your fundamentals hitting it one way or the other. This cattle on feed report's not going to be enough to do it. But the one thing that could do it is dry weather, and it could do it faster than anything. Now it is starting to get dry. We don't want to scare anybody yet, but and it's always dry in the southern plains this time of year before they start getting their rainy weather and their tornado type weather. But it is dry and windy in the southern plains, Texas Panhandle and areas all around it. It's like the Dust Bowl, having some serious dust storms causing major wrecks on the highways, and it is really starting to get serious down there, blowing a lot of topsoil away. And you get up further up into the plains, Kansas and Nebraska, places like that, major cattle production areas. Now we had kind of a rough winter in that area, and they had some really cold temperatures, but not a lot of snow. And most of the snow that they did get was the blowing kind that doesn't have a lot of moisture in it. So those areas are very dry too. We need spring rains to come fast, and we need a lot of them. We need these corn farmers to get some good subsoil moisture down, get a good crop planted there, because it could be that dry weather could be the culprit to really knock the feeder cattle off of the perch that we've been on for a long time. But they're planting a lot of acres of corn. They could still have a big crop and not have that good a year really. There's a lot less cattle and a whole lot less hogs to eat that corn. Fat cattle market this week steady to $2 higher, from 150 to 152. Regional weighted averages in the north central states: an 8-weight steer cost you $168.58 compared to $167.15 last week and $126.54 a year ago. In the south central region, 7-weight steer cost you $175 even compared to $172.05 last week and $134.06 a year ago. And down in the southeast, a 5-weight steer cost you $200.89 compared to $198.78 last week and $146.98 a year ago. That wraps up your feeder and stocker cattle market summary for this week. Check out our website for more market information at marketnews.usda.gov. And from the Regional Market News Office in St. Joe, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.